Rugby World Rankings, folks, for 2 rounds of the Rugby Championship 2024. No changes in terms of where the teams are positioned, although there has been a bit of points exchange. And with the upcoming round seeing the All Blacks go into South Africa, could the All Blacks potentially take number 1 spot? We'll go through the possibilities, the current rankings, and you guys can let us know your thoughts on how fair or not you think they are. Like I mentioned, there's not a heck of a lot of change. South Africa with their win over the Wallabies, 2 wins from 2 games, 2 bonus points, but no changes in their world rankings. They are still first in the world rankings, but haven't seen any points exchange because the gap between them and the Wallabies is too vast. Ireland's still their number 2, and then New Zealand up from 88.37 to 88.71, a minimal points exchange with the Pumas with their victory at Eden Park. I think they dropped, full 2 points with the loss, so the All Blacks certainly didn't regain all the points they lost from that Wellington game with the Eden Park victory, but they still managed to take some points, if nothing else. And Argentina did drop from 83.64 to 83.30, so no dropping in terms of their position on the table, but they have lost kind of minimal points to the ABs. England and France are still there, 5th and 4th respectively. Scotland is still there in 7th. Italy still above the Wallabies. And Fiji kind of on this side of the whiteboard, rounding out the top 10. Now, Fiji's also an important one because it's not as high billing as the Rugby Championship, but the Pacific Nations Cup gets underway this weekend. Remember, it's a 6-team competition this year. The 2 North American teams are featuring USA and Canada. And their pathway to the next World Cup seems to be relatively, I don't want to say more guaranteed, but at least one of those 2 teams is going to make it with the restructure in the qualification pathways. Basically, all the Pacific Nations teams, bar one, should make it, and the one that doesn't kind of have a guaranteed spot is still in with a chance through the kind of repechage route. But yeah, the 2 North American teams, Fiji is there, Samoa is there, Tonga is there, the kind of traditional Pacific nations, and then Eddie Jones's Japan team is there as well. 2 of those matches get underway this upcoming weekend. Fiji's taking on Samoa in Fiji. Fiji cannot pass the Aussies just yet, but they could potentially drop to that side of the whiteboard below Wales if they were to lose to Samoa. Samoa could potentially pass Georgia if they win. And then I mentioned Eddie Jones. His team's heading to Canada, which is a match they should be big-time favourites in, given the turmoil that Canadian men's rugby has been in for seemingly forever now. Canada could pass Romania and actually jump up onto the whiteboard from 21st into 20th if they were to beat Eddie Jones's Japan, who have been on a bit of a bad run. Japan cannot pass Samoa, but they could potentially drop below Portugal if they were to lose. But realistically, Japan will be massive, massive favourites for that game. But what about the Rugby Championship in a fortnight's time? How can the Rugby World Rankings change? Obviously, we've got a massive, massive first against third with the Box hosting the All Blacks. Well, the Box could drop first spot if they were to lose to the ABs. If it was a close one, which is like 1 to 15 in terms of World Rankings terms, they would drop to second below Ireland. And if they were to lose by 16 points or more, which would be incredible because I've already had a look at the odds and the Box are certainly big-time favourites for Game 1, then yeah, they could even potentially drop to third with the All Blacks passing them. So it's a good chance for the All Blacks to get some pointage, but also likewise for the Box. Actually playing a team which is relatively close to them in the world rankings means that the Box can still actually take some points. They can't take a heck of a lot off the ABs, but they could potentially take some points for a win, which is more than they got when they were in Australia. There's also Argentina taking on the Wallabies from Argentina. Argentina can take some points off the Wallabies, but not a heck of a lot. And Australia could pass the Italians if they were to win, which would be a spot that they usually find themselves in. Being below Italy is not a normal one for the Aussies. But yes, that's how the world rankings sit after 2 rounds of the Rugby Championship. Remember, Rugby Championship takes a week off as the teams kind of travel for the 3rd round fixtures. And as I said, Pacific Nations Cup has Fiji, Samoa, and Canada, Japan in action this coming weekend. So why not check that out if it's available on your local broadcast? Otherwise, check out 2 Cents Gets Distracted. That's the kind of podcast that Tony from Distracted Sports and I the host. We talk about rugby pretty much weekly. It's available in podcast version from all your normal podcasting platforms or on mine or Tony's channel. There'll be a link to the playlist somewhere down there, up there. But yes, you guys subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Drop us a comment, drop us a like, and let us know your thoughts on the world rankings. I will talk to you guys again soon. See you later.